Have you ever wondered how that one song you just can't get out of your head goes from a simple idea to a massive global hit? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the whole process, from the very first note sung in a studio to the final track you can't stop streaming. It can really feel like magic, right? But it's actually this fascinating mix of raw talent and some seriously cool technology. So let's break down that journey and see exactly how it's done, step by step. So it all starts right here. Every great song needs its raw ingredients, and in pop music, the most important one is almost always the human voice. Let's dive into how producers capture it and get it into the computer. This piece of software is the command center. It's called a Digital Audio Workstation, or DAW for short. Basically, it's an entire recording studio packed inside a computer. Every single sound, vocals, drums, keyboards, it all gets recorded and organized right here. This is the digital canvas where a producer builds the song from the ground up. Now, getting that perfect vocal performance is a really careful process. It starts with a super high-quality microphone to get a crystal clear sound, usually inside a soundproof booth so no outside noise can leak in. The artist will sing the song over and over again in what are called takes, and the producer is listening for that one magic delivery. They even use special gear called preamplifiers to add this really nice warmth and richness to the singer's voice before it even hits the computer. Okay, so with the main vocal recorded, it's time to build the entire world around it. This is where the song really gets its energy, its feel, its whole vibe, and that usually starts with the beat. Here's something that might surprise you. Most pop drum beats you hear aren't played by a live drummer anymore. They're actually programmed. A producer literally clicks in each drum hit on a digital grid. To make the beat feel huge and powerful, they'll often layer sounds, like stacking 3 different kick drum sounds on top of each other just to create one massive punch. And what about all those cool electronic sounds in pop songs? Well, they almost all come from a synthesizer, or synth. A synth isn't trying to copy a real instrument like a piano or guitar. Instead, it uses electricity and code to generate brand new sounds completely from scratch. It's how producers create everything from those deep, booming bass lines to shimmering background textures. Now, synths come in 2 main flavors. You've got analog synths, which use old-school physical circuits to create these really warm, rich, organic sounds. Then there are digital synths, which are basically powerful software that use math to create almost any sound you can imagine, perfect for those super clean, futuristic pop sounds. Most producers use a combination of both. All right, we've got the beat, we've got the music. Now it's time to go back to the star of the show, the vocals. A raw vocal recording is great, but to make it sound like a real hit, producers have a few more tricks up their sleeve. You've probably heard of autotune, right? Well, this is what it actually is. Pitch correction software is a totally standard tool in every pop studio. It lets a producer go in and just nudge a singer's notes to make sure every single one is perfectly on key. It's not really about fixing bad singing. It's about achieving that super polished, flawless sound that we're all used to hearing on the radio. And remember all those different vocal recordings, the takes from the beginning? This is where they become so important. The producer will do something called comping, which is kind of like building a puzzle. They'll listen to every single take and pick the best sounding version of each individual word or phrase, then stitch them all together seamlessly to create one flawless, almost superhuman vocal performance. And check this out. This fact might blow your mind. That massive sounding chorus in your favorite song, you're almost never hearing just one voice. To make a chorus feel absolutely huge, producers will often layer 20 or even more vocal tracks on top of each other. We're talking main vocals, harmonies, whispers, all of it. So at this point, we have dozens and dozens of tracks, all the drums, the bass, the synths, and all those vocal layers. The next job is to make them all play together nicely. This stage is called mixing, and it's definitely part science, part art. Think of a mix engineer as the song's director. They use a digital mixing board to balance the volume of every single instrument so nothing is too loud or too quiet. They also decide where sounds should sit in your headphones, left, right, or center, which is called panning. Then they add effects, like reverb, to make it sound like the song is in a real space, giving it depth. It's all about making sure every part has its own place to shine. Now, here's the key tool they use to do that. It's called equalization, or EQ. Think of it like a sound sculptor. An EQ allows the engineer to carve out a very specific space for each instrument in the frequency spectrum. This way, the bass doesn't clash with the kick drum, and the vocal can sit right on top of everything else, perfectly clear instead of sounding all muddy. And here is the secret sauce for that polished, professional pop sound.
Compression. It's basically an automatic volume controller. It tames the loudest parts of a performance and boosts the quietest parts. The result? Everything sounds incredibly consistent and punchy, and it helps glue all the different instruments together in the mix.
We are so close now. The song is mixed, it sounds amazing, but there is one final, absolutely crucial step before it can be released on Spotify, Apple Music, and everywhere else. The last step is called mastering. It's the final polish. A specialized mastering engineer takes the finished mix and makes sure it's loud enough and powerful enough to compete with every other hit song out there. They do one last check to guarantee it sounds great on everything from your tiny phone speaker to massive club sound systems. It's the quality control that gets a song ready for the big leagues. And there you have it. That is the entire journey, broken down into 5 key stages. It all starts with recording that single raw performance, then moves into production where the beat and music are built. After that, the vocals are perfected, everything is blended together in the mix, and finally it gets that last coat of polish in mastering so it's ready for the world. So next time you put on your favorite song, listen a little closer. See if you can hear the layers in the chorus or the way the kick drum and bass have their own space. Now that you know the secrets, you might just hear the music in a completely new way. Thanks for joining this explainer.